we women take least care of ourselves. We worry about everybody else's situation. So after about 3 months of feeling that bulge, I got curious. I thought, what the heck is that? And I got a handheld mirror, and put it down there, and took a look to see what was going on. And there was about a walnut-sized lump coming out of my vagina. And I thought to myself, that can't be good. I didn't know what it was, and I didn't think about it. It didn't look like a cervix. I didn't have a uterus. It looked like a tumor. My primary care clinician at that point, she said very matter-of-factly, you have pelvic organ prolapse. I will fit you with a pessary, and then if I wasn't happy with the pessary, she would refer me to a urogynecologist for treatment, for surgical treatment. And I had never heard any of those terms before. I had no idea what they meant. So I came home and did what most women would do. I looked at Google and said, okay, what up with this? And every single link I pulled up said the same thing. It's so common, extremely common. At that point in time, they were saying 3.3 million women in the US, and I was blown away. I couldn't believe that. How is it possible? Here's a condition that's that common, and childbirth is a leading cause. Menopause is cause number 2, and I'd never heard of it. I've done all the right stuff with my female health, breast health, PAP exams, the whole 9 yards, and I never heard of this. I was furious. I was livid. I was so ticked off. I knew that I had to do something to change the dynamic. It was not acceptable to me that women don't know about this ahead of the curve. So step 1 for me was writing a book to put into the hands of women to help them understand that this condition exists and to get answers to themselves. And the pessary worked great. It worked great. I felt wonderful. It kept everything up inside. But after 2 weeks of navigating that pessary, because every morning I would put it in, every night I would take it out, clean it, put it back in the next day. After 2 weeks of that, I thought, I don't have time for this. I work a lot of hours. So I was diagnosed in December. And then it was in January, about mid-January, that I got in to see the urogynecologist. And I loved her. She was awesome, or is awesome. And she said, you have 3 of the 5 types of prolapse. I had a cystocele, which is the bladder. I had a rectocele, which is the rectum. And I had an enterocele, which is the intestines. And she said, you're grade 3 of severity. So there's 4 grades of severity. So I was pretty up there on the scale with how severe it was. And she said, no, we can do surgery. Why don't you take the summer off and enjoy yourself, and have some time sitting outside weeding the flower beds. I'm like, no. Fix it yesterday. I need to get forward with my life. I need to move forward. So she's okay, if that's what you want, that's what we'll do. I used the time between when I was diagnosed and when I went in for surgery to gather all my information for the book. I was on the couch and wrote the book. And then after I was finished writing it, then I thought, okay, now I have to find a publisher. How do you do that? So I started scouting for publishers and got a lot of reject letters. A lot of people self-publish now, and I've actually started my own publishing company. But at that point in time, people didn't do self-publishing. It didn't have, so I had to keep looking and, reject letter, start from scratch, look for more, start from scratch, look for more. And finally, I found someone to publish the book. I was about 15 months into marketing when the light bulb came on. If you want to really effectively help women, support women, you should fund a nonprofit. I went off down that rabbit hole.
You were 50 at that time?
Either 54 or 55, I can't remember for sure.
You started a new career at that age.
Yes. I knew it was my destiny. I just knew. So I was trying to market the book, and the first edition, it would get women's attention. They'd find it online somehow, and then they would reach out to me and send me their questions or talk to me about whatever was going on. What should they do? Who should they see? I would advise them either by email or by I give my phone number, they call. But when a call comes in the landline and it's a woman who is so uncomfortable with the idea of sharing her very, very personal information, on social media, I'm in. If I could spend all day, every day, just talking with women, that's what I would do. That's where my heart is at. But that doesn't engender the changes we need to make. And there's so much we have to address. And to this day, when I come to the desk in the morning, I come in with the intent of checking social media. And the vision has always been not just patients, but connecting the dots between patients and healthcare and academics that teach the healthcare and researchers and industry and the policymakers, because we're all part of the big picture. It all has to be connected to make this evolve to where it needs to be.
Every day you post something new.
Monday through Friday, I post to all the social media spaces. So, and again, connecting all those dots between all of the patients and the white coat and the white collar. Everyone's voice matters, and they all make a difference in the big picture.
On the way how you got here, you must have met challenges apart from starting a new career. What I see really impressive is that you really dare to talk about these intimate things. For instance, on LinkedIn, which is a professional social media platform. I used to work for corporate, companies. The spam filters would filter anything that is related to vagina or, just to name that part. And once I even saw you share the picture on LinkedIn. So I think it's amazing. What kind of response did you receive?
The initial biggest barrier I had to overcome was I have no medical degree. That was a huge barrier. And I have to tell you, I've been laughed at by the biggest and the best. Not anymore, but in the beginning they did. I speak my truth. I speak women's truth every day. And I just stayed the course. It's very frustrating that even now, it's mind-boggling to me that we can say penis and that's okay, but we can't say vagina. I mean, I don't understand. I literally don't understand, So it's a definite determined effort to evolve the way the world at large looks at women's bodies. Whether we're talking vaginal health or intimate health, it's all part of our health. And it's imperative that we get that comfort zone with that stuff. And again, in the beginning, it was hard. Everybody thought I was, woo, this wacky woman is talking about vaginas. What up with that? But it got softer over time. There's a lot of misconceptions in the POP arena. And I know this. I don't think this. I know this because I listen to the voices of women all day, every day. If you want to know what the reality is of a health condition, ask the person experiencing it. That will tell you what's going on. And so I started to get braver with even live in conversations with doctors at conferences saying, so what do you think about this? What's your opinion on this? And they would say, blah, 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 whatever, and I would say, I don't think so. This is what I'm hearing women say. And it opens up the dialogue. And if it's a clinician that's all ego, the wall comes down. If it's a clinician that really cares about his patients, he's like this. You tell. I want to hear more. And so eventually it got to the point where I was given enough respect that I was able to really share my opinions without having to worry about any of that stuff impacting what I was doing. I didn't want to jeopardize what I was trying to build, but it's important that everyone that's engaged in this process understands women's realities. It's priceless. They need to know what the real life is, So.
What about your family? How did they accept? How did they react to be associated with all this?
Not well. My son is extremely supportive. He always has been. The rest of my family thinks I'm nuts. They all think I'm a whack job. I had to get to the page of just trying to let that go. Nothing that anyone I am close to says negatively about what I do is going to stop me from doing what I do, because I love what I do and it's important and it's valid and it's necessary. I've got a lot of people outside of family that are hugely supportive, so that feeds my soul. Women's voices thanking me every day feeds my soul, and that keeps the fires burning.